Welcome back, guys. Today I thought I would do a video based around wedding planning. Now I know that I just got married a couple months ago, but there are a lot of things that I learned throughout the process that I kind of wish I did differently. There are some things that I'm happy I did it the way that I did. So I thought today what I would do is share with you guys what worked for me, the process I took when it came to planning a wedding, what I thought was like the #1 thing to do, and following in those footsteps. Basically, I want to give you like a timeline of how I planned each thing out and how I, well, put together a wedding. And I'm a person who has no idea what she was doing. I was not the type of person that ever thought would plan a wedding, so this is what worked for me. So the first thing with Charles and I was we discussed a budget. What was our budget? What was the peak amount of money that we wanted to spend? Was there an amount that we felt most comfortable with? Because I think that's so important. I think a lot of people have this idea of a dream wedding, but they don't really put into perspective how expensive certain things can be. I mean, I was blown away by even some venues that we looked at, how expensive they were. Food, flowers, dresses, just little knickknacks everywhere that go around the wedding to kind of complete the look. And don't worry, even if you have a small budget or if you have a large budget, you can make it happen. Trust me, we did it. We had a minimal budget, and this was a personal choice on our end, and our wedding turned out wonderfully. So I think the first thing that I can recommend is setting a budget for yourself. Second thing that I would kind of plan on is thinking about the amount of people that you want to come to the wedding, because that can really change a lot of things. That can play into part with your budget, because having 200 people as opposed to 100 people, that can really change the amount of money that you're spending. It can also determine what your venue will be. If you had this idea of choosing a venue from your hometown that was beautiful and small and quaint, if you're inviting 200 people and it can only fit 50, then that's not gonna work out either. Deciding on the amount of people that you want to come to your wedding or you want to invite to your wedding would be my second recommendation. Next, which I think is kind of the fun part, is choosing the venue that you want to get married at. When you go and look for a wedding venue, I think that it's going to be important for you to, obviously budget plays a lot into this, but keep in mind the budget. Renting out a venue can cost a lot of money. And if you have no idea what you're looking for, I say go out and check out as many venues as you possibly can. Sometimes venues will give you a better deal if you have your wedding earlier in the day. Sometimes they'll give you a better deal if you have it on a different day throughout the week. But figuring out what venue you want is gonna be super important for the next step. Once you get that planned out, we noticed that we were very, very busy with things that were going on in our life, and we decided to take the route of getting a wedding planner to help us with scheduling, to help us with setting up meetings with vendors, to help us really keep the process going, because it is really important to kind of stay on a schedule when it comes to planning a wedding. 6 months out, you're supposed to have so many things done. 4 months out, you're supposed to have so many things done. And with us, because Charles is on the road, and then myself working from home, and then us traveling and doing all these different things with YouTube, it was kind of hard to keep everything narrowed down and made sure that it was done. So we took the step of getting a wedding planner. If you're a type of person that needs a little help, it's in your budget, and you really have scheduling conflicts, I'm not very good at scheduling. I'm actually pretty bad at it. I recommend going ahead and getting a local wedding planner. Having a wedding planner, I found out, really helped us determine the type of wedding that we wanted. At first, I was super confused. I didn't know. I didn't really have a plan. I just knew that, I wanted to make sure it was something that Charles was comfortable with and I was comfortable with, and that it was something that really represented us. Now, I'm not the type of person that loves the glitz and the glam and the craziness. I like something that's a little bit more comfortable and laid back, really focused on just being around friends and family and having fun and dancing and good food, but not all the other spectacular things. Now, that might be completely different for you guys. So you need to decide what type of wedding that you want. If you want a big wedding with a bunch of people that's very extravagant, filled with jewels and glitter and glam and all of that, do you want, a destination wedding? Those are really important things that you need to figure out when planning your wedding. This is where my dilemma came in, and this is why I was very happy I had a wedding planner. She really helped me find a great company that supplied tables and chairs and things of that sort. She helped us find a great florist for our wedding who really could create the type of floral arrangement and greenery arrangement that we wanted, because not all florists can do that, and not all companies that provide tables and chairs can give you exactly what you're looking for. But again, you can go onto these various websites and they can direct you to different vendors that will help you carry out your idea. But like I said, having a wedding planner, she had great recommendations of people that she's worked with in the past that really helped us really put together our idea for our wedding. So after you choose your venue and you get that all planned away and squared away, the next thing that we did was we hired a videographer and a photographer. We knew that we wanted a videographer, someone to film the entire day and really capture things that maybe we didn't see. So we made sure to squeeze that into our budget, and then also finding a photographer that really captured every single moment of this wedding. They can be very pricey, so do your research. Ask your friends who they used for their wedding. So we used both of our friends, which was wonderful, and that really helped us and really narrowed down exactly who we were looking, or the type of person that would be perfect for our wedding. Search online. There are many wedding websites out there that can recommend great videographers, photographers, even wedding videographers, photographer packages that come together that could be perfect for you and perfect for your budget. Once you've chosen all of that, the next part for me was incredibly fun, which was choosing food. We got really lucky because we already had an idea of what we were looking for when it came to food for the wedding. We knew right off the bat that we wanted food trucks, so we did a lot of research. We searched for food trucks that would actually serve at a wedding, made sure that our venue allowed food trucks to either park behind, park in front, be on the property, because a lot of times the venues that you choose make you choose from a catering company on their list. We ended up finding a catering company that served out of a food truck. So we ended up having catering quality food out of a food truck, but it was still food truck food, but a little bit higher end. Does that make any sense? It was very interactive because we didn't want like a very sit down wedding. So that was really important to us to find something where you can really interact. And we did just that. Food can cost a lot of money. This goes back to the whole budget thing. And what I'm gonna recommend for that is if you know the type of food that you want, I say do a little research. Try a couple companies. We ended up trying a couple companies, and the first company that we tried when it came to the food truck aspect was this catering company, and they were incredible and their prices were incredible. After we chose our food, our venue, we had set the budgets. Next thing that we did is we sat down with our wedding planner and we really tried to narrow down the exact feeling that we wanted the wedding to represent. Now, I didn't really know. Like I said, when it came to this whole wedding planning thing, I'm like, I had no idea. Pinterest was a blessing though. It was absolute blessing. I knew that I loved the idea of having a lot of greenery, and I love rich, deep, earthy, like almost jewel tones. So I ended up going onto Pinterest and pulling a lot of ideas off of there, whether it was the tones that I was looking for or just searching different vibes. Like first I went with rustic, and then I went with bohemian, and then I went with modern, and I kind of mixed it all together and created what I would say is our very own style of wedding, because there was no real theme to it. It was romantic and inviting and fun. There was, like I said, there was no real style to it. If you have a specific style or idea for your wedding that you're trying to portray, Pinterest is the best thing in the world, and that can really help you narrow down exactly what you want. Because at first, I had really, really rich tones, and it was just too much for me. I ended up bringing it down a little bit more to colors that were still romantic and beautiful and still represented that jewel tone that I was looking for, but were definitely more cohesive. Because sometimes I think we have so many different ideas, and then when we put them together, they just don't mend well. And that was the situation that I was kind of going through. So once I figured out the colors that I really wanted, I started to build from it, and then I started eliminating colors, and I really narrowed down this beautiful, whimsical, greenery, lovely, I don't know what it was. I can't tell you. I have no idea what the theme of our wedding was. So if you have a specific theme, I say go to Pinterest. It really helped me out. That actually leads into my next thing, which is if you have certain projects that you, or certain things that you want within your wedding, always check and see if it's going to be cheaper for you to rent or make yourself. That was my saving grace. There were certain things that I made that were so much cheaper than if I were to rent it out. For instance, we did a photo booth. It ended up being like a fourth of what it would cost to rent a photo booth. And it turned out exactly how we wanted, which was wonderful, because when we looked online for photo booths to rent, we didn't want the actual photo booth or just like the drop of the sheet behind people. We wanted it to be something a little bit more rustic and fun and very unique to us. We ended up making our photo booth. We found out it would be cheaper to do that. A lot of the knickknacks that went on the tables and the guest gifts, I guess that's what you would call it, guest gifts, we ended up doing little bags that we stamped and put coffee in it and hot chocolate. That ended up being cheaper than buying it online. If you're someone who doesn't really care about the whole cost thing and you would rather have convenience, go online. Etsy was a blessing as well. Etsy helped me figure out a lot of things that I wanted to do and wanted to make, and helped me narrow down some ideas that I had. So yeah, because sometimes you have these ideas in your head and they just don't seem to work out in your head, and you have to actually see it in person. Pinterest, Etsy, The Knot, these were all wonderful sites that really helped me out when putting together our wedding. I always recommend going to those sites, looking at the vendors that they have on there, looking at their rating, making sure it's within your budget, and making sure that they supply the type of items that you're looking for. One of the last things that we actually did when it came to the wedding was choosing the type of music we wanted. We ended up choosing a DJ over live music, which was something that was a personal choice of our own. We were very happy with that. If you do want a live band, there's a big difference in price there between a live band and a DJ, so make sure you put that into your budget. Now, I know there are things that I'm missing, but these are things that I figured out throughout the process. This is kind of the schedule that I put myself on, and what seemed to really work well with having 6 months to plan a wedding. So it's not going to be the same for everybody, and it'll definitely be stretched out for those who are getting married or have a longer time to plan when it comes to their wedding. So take that also into consideration. Also, if you're the type of person that needs a scheduling book or a planner, there are plenty of those out there that can really help you figure out from week to week, month to month, what you need to do for your wedding based on the amount of time that you have to plan this wedding. And last thing that I can say is, throughout this entire process, try not to stress, just try and have fun with it. It's a magical day, and it's gonna be a day that you'll never forget, and that's gonna go by super fast. But those little details, they might be super important to you, but they're not incredibly important to everybody else. So make sure that you really focus on what makes you happy. Make sure that you focus on each other. Make sure that you have a great time. It's just a wonderful thing. On that note, I think I'm gonna end this weird wedding video. I don't know. So sometimes I like get into this zone where I think I'm making sense, and then I look back and I feel like I just rambled a whole bunch. But I really hope this helped out some of you for future wedding planning. For those of you who didn't, I'm so sorry you had to listen to me blab for however many minutes. I am going to do another video very soon on choosing the right wedding dress for you, what worked for me, things of that sort. So alright guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you guys are brand new, please hit that subscribe button. I think it's like down there. I can never figure it out. If you guys liked today's video, please give me a thumbs up. I love seeing that. And we will see you guys later. Bye guys.